let's move on to Kansas State. Kansas State preview time. Who's ready for the Wildcats? They're coming in to Norman 2-1 off a 17-10 loss to Tulane in Manhattan last week, a shocking loss to the Green Wave. What have we seen out of Kansas State that sticks out to you guys? Obviously, their offense is going to run through Deuce Vaughn. He gets all the carries. He was their leading receiver last week in terms of receptions. He had 8 catches. The next highest guy, I want to get this correct.
That's more catches than anyone in any of our games has had all year.
Yeah, their next leading receiver had 5 catches. So they feed Deuce the ball as much as they possibly can. And I think that the focus on this game is going to be OU needs to stop the run and make Adrian Martinez beat you. Because if that's the game you play, you win that game 9 times out of 10.
I agree with that. And it's also interesting because you look up a little bit about Kansas State doing your research, right? And there's some not too good quotes about Adrian Martinez from Chris Kleiman, the head coach there at Kansas State. There are things like, quote, "We got to get him to cut it loose and be free. If he makes a mistake, then he makes a mistake." That's tough. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to be the guy that won't chuck it when your team needs you to chuck it. And I'm not sure he's someone look, I'm getting cocky, right? I'm getting a little bit cocky. But if you can take care of Deuce Vaughn, if you can minimize his impact on the game, then I agree with you. You put it in the hands of Adrian Martinez, and he had trouble against Tulane. He scored 10 points against Tulane.
Yeah.
That's Oklahoma 2021 kind of stuff. So I don't think there's much to worry about past Deuce Vaughn. That's a tough thing to say, but I truly think that's the case.
And look, Deuce Vaughn is averaging over 100 yards a game. So he gets the ball and he gets it a lot. Matt, go ahead.
It's all about the running game for Kansas State. Deuce Vaughn, he had 24 carries the game before against Missouri, 24 carries, 145. Tulane, 20 carries for 81 yards. So they're going to give him the ball, but the one thing I'm worried about, just like in the Kent State game, was the mobility of the quarterback. And we saw some problems when they did the RPO kind of action, and Sleeb, the quarterback, or Sleeby, what I don't know, you know me, Schlee, whatever, you know me, bad with names, got away with some of those runs. And even though Deuce Vaughn had all those 20 plus carries in those games, Adrian Martinez in the Tulane game, 13 carries, 60 yards, and he also had 13 carries for 52 yards. So not a great average, but at least he's, if he's not going to throw it, he's going to put the ball and he's going to get yardage the way he can. So we had some problems against Kent State. That's going to be the problem we're going to face. Can we stop the rushing attack of Adrian Martinez and Deuce Vaughn? I'm not too worried about Adrian Martinez throwing the football, as we just heard from Mark. So if we can stop the run, bottle it up, I don't think this will be a very much problem game, but the rushing attack is something I am worried about.
Yeah, to be clear, Deuce Vaughn is the most dynamic player in the Big 12 offensively. He is a stud. So for me to assume we'll take care of him is not a wise assumption, but I just gave linebackers an A+. So here's your first big test, guys.
That's fair. Sorry, I was looking up stats here. Okay, so for me, Adrian Martinez, let's just say it out loud. He doesn't look that good. They don't look that good offensively. I think if you're able to score 28 points in this game, you win the game. That's what I think, and that's my way of segueing to this offense. I'm looking for Kansas State's ranking in defense. Someone else go. What do you see from this Kansas State defense that OU can exploit?
Matt?
Yeah, I mean, the defense is holding their opponents to pretty low, right? They played San Diego, they won 34-0. They played Missouri, won 40-12. And I mean, Tulane was a low-scoring game, was 17-10. So their defense is definitely keeping them involved. but there's still yards to be played. I mean, they're still giving up over 300 plus yards of offense to these teams, but there seems like more of a bend don't break offense, right? Or bend don't break defense. Sorry, I should apologize. So people are exploiting them down the road, but then they buffer up towards the red zone, and they're not giving up a lot of points. Now, have they played a truly good offense? Have they seen OU's dynamic offense yet? No, but it'll still be a test because there's still, we saw that we can get stopped too. Kent State, UTEP, Nebraska showed it on the first couple of drives. So it'll be interesting to see how they can handle it, but still giving up a lot of yards. There's not a lot of points.
Yeah. South Dakota, Missouri, and Tulane, the teams they played so far. They shut out South Dakota, allowed 12 points to Missouri, and obviously 17 to Tulane last week. I think their defense is their strength. I think they look good right now. They're ranked 20th in the nation in total defense as it stands right now, allowing 276 yards a game. They've only allowed 3 touchdowns total. You got to hit them in the mouth. I think with a team like this, what we've seen in the past, OU dances around Kansas State and doesn't hit them in the mouth with the running game, and that's when they get in trouble. That's what Lincoln Riley avoided. He thought he could throw it all over the field, and Kansas State is just too fundamentally sound. They're not going to let you do that. They're a bend, don't break sort of defense. I think this game is huge for Eric Gray and Marcus Major. We just talked about how they both haven't had a game where they've been at their best. I think this game, they need to show us that they both can do it, because there's going to be times where Eric Gray's tired and needs a breather. And there's times where Marcus is going to need Eric to carry the load. It's going to be important for both of those guys to step up.
So looking at the teams that Kansas State has played, I'm not impressed by any of them. I think Missouri might just be a dumpster fire. Maybe that guy's a fraud. I'm not sure. Not for me to say. I'm not an SEC journalist yet, but I'm not convinced that the defense is really going to be that good, because nothing about the South Dakota, Missouri, or Tulane offenses really tell me that they were powerhouses of their own. So I'll be excited to see, like you said, Mason, Eric and Marcus, can they just power through these guys? Because they have so far. And one would presume that our offensive line is going to gel a little bit better after a week of having Wanye back. Passing wise, Marvin is Marvin. You expect him to be great. Dylan is Dylan. You expect him to do everything right. And who else can step up in this game? Because it seems like someone else scores a touchdown or two and Marvin gets his. Who's it going to be this team?
Yeah.
And can Javante Barnes do a little, okay, I'll just cards on the table. I think we're going to win by like 35 points. I think we're going to win by a lot. I think that the attitude of this team is one that doesn't come out and dance around with teams, especially at home. There's a different kind of atmosphere now. It's a night game. I love it. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be yelling. And I think the team is going to be, they're built to play different now than we did last year. The last freaking 6 years.
Yeah. I tend to kind of agree with you. I think this game is going to be a little more lopsided than we've seen in the past, because like I said, I don't think this Brent Venables team comes out and messes around for 4 quarters. They're going to, if they get up by 2 scores, watch for OU to step on their neck. Mm-hmm. I think that's when they start to really clamp down and go for the kill shot. I think you're right. I tend to lean more towards a 20 to 30 point victory than I do 4 3-point victory in a close eke out win. Matt?
It's just hard to say. They've been a thorn in our sides, whether we're playing in Manhattan or we're playing in Norman, right? Like you said, the last 4, 5, 6 years have come down to 1 or 2 score games, and it's been a lot closer. And the Kansas State team, have they been great? No, but they just have kind of had our number. They've just kind of figured it out. And hopefully, like you said, Mark, the attitude of this team is just different, where we just want to absolutely punch them in the mouth instead of, I feel like we almost showed them to respect. Yeah, are they a classy school for sure? Bill Snyder, just the way they run things and all that as well. I just want to see them punch them in the mouth and, like you said, win by 20 plus points instead of having these close games.
That'd be great. What do you think down below? Let us know. What do you think OU needs to do to win this game? How big do you think they will win? Do you think OU will lose to Kansas State? Let us know down below in the comments section. Guys, one big thing that we're looking for this week, I'll start with you, Mark.
The one big thing I'm looking for is the offensive line. I think I said it last week, and I gave them the lowest grade I just gave anyone just now. Let's see that group continue to gel. Let's see them continue to put it together, and let's not see Dylan Gabriel on his back quite so much. Now, that's not all on the line. It's not. We've gone over a lot of the dynamics at play there, but I want to see the offensive line come together. They need to.
For me, it's the linebackers. The linebackers are going to be the most important unit in this game because they're going to be responsible for stopping Deuce Vaughn. In coverage, they're going to be the guys on Deuce coming out of the backfield. They're going to be the guys in the second level trying to stop him from getting big runs. Danny Stutzman, David Oguebu, JK7, all those guys are going to be so important to stopping basically the only thing that Kansas State can do, and that's give Deuce Vaughn the ball. So if you stop that, you win the game easily. That's why the linebackers are so important for me, and that's why I think they're the main people that I'm watching to perform on Saturday. Matt?
Yeah, something similar is just stopping the run game, especially Adrian Martinez, right? Vaughn, like you said, Mark, he's the most dynamic running back in the Big 12, probably the best offensive player other than maybe Marvin himself. But he's going to get his carries no matter what. They're going to hand him the ball 20 plus times. I guarantee it.
Yeah, they live and die with him. They have to.
Right. And again, Adrian Martinez are probably going to run that run pass option or run that RPO. Can we get penetration? Can we get some more tackles for loss, some more sacks in the backfield? That will help out if we can just stop the run game. That's all that's important in this game.
Love it. What are you looking for?
I'm willing to bet we get more than 5 tackles for loss this game.
I think you're probably right. Let us know down below what you're looking for. What's the one big thing you're looking for in this game?